Alrighty. Man, this was a eventful one. Last time we left off, I believe it was Julius who had decided to, I suppose, strike a deal with conscience in his group. Um, it was actually surprisingly fruitful. I mean, we managed to go ahead and talk to him. We got Moonstone back, and for the most part, I don't think we really learned all too much, other than the fact that he struck a deal with him. Um, something about him. I think it's Manticore, or nah. It was yeah, no, it had something to do with the Manticore and helping the other people get their jobs back. Other things I couldn't care to remember right now, at least, or that's pretending like I have the ability to. But anyways, they got back, and I was really happy to go ahead and see him. But unfortunately, the return was a bit mixed in terms of reception. Gallo seemed indifferent. He's normally indifferent, and Keswick seemed a little bit positive. Although I guess that's also kind of him. But otherwise, Grotus was not happy. I mean, he already wasn't happy in the talk that we had, but I mean, kind of used the C word towards Moonstone, and the P word. But yeah, that one good. I don't know. It feels like we might have just now finally arrived at the same page as a team, as a group, but it seemed as though we kind of stepped away from that at the last bit. I don't know. If I know anything about the two of them, they can work together, but as far as connections go, that's a bit concerning. But other than that, upon a little bit of a find that Gallo made, we ended up finding the same goblin mage priestess, something like that. I don't know, witch, whatever. At a camp that seemed to have previously held goblins before, and alongside with that, I believe it was a manticore that was attached to some bolts, or just its head. I don't remember.
Head
All I
on a
remember
pike.
is that, huh?
Head on a pike.
Oh, head on a pike. Though, yeah, thanks. I didn't quite remember that because I currently have a pike that just stabbed through me from that fence.
You did.
Sounds hot.
He just glared. That'll be it. But yeah. And Julius killed me afterwards.
What's
So,
And Julius killed me afterwards.
so, as I believe it was late in the day, the traces of sunlight glistening through the leaves of the wood around, you all stand before the goblin shaman. Once again, she stares up towards you through this near translucent orb around her, shielding her. As you, Grotus, your arm impacted on it, it did not budge nor shift. You watch as she quickly almost kind of rights herself into a sitting position before the eyes of recognition go. And while you do look to her and that immediate almost reaction of seething, you look behind her and see on top of a very thick pike the head of a beast whose face alone is near the size of your chest, to those of you that are medium-sized still. The face is vaguely humanoid. In first glance, you see what looks to be this older human female's face. Wrinkles clearly forming, but as you kind of look to where the lips and jaws are, you start to see differences, cracks in the lips that would allow the mouth to open wider, and rows on rows of serrated teeth. Where the woman's hair would be, you see this mane filled with tiny thorns. And as you look to the neck that is mounted on the pike, it is savagely torn apart. No clean cut was made, it was twisted and torn. You look now to the goblin. She looks up towards you, still defensive, but remaining seated. watching you all through her strange magical hut, not saying a word, just examining, watching the field, looking and counting each and every one of them.
For clarification, the head is on the inside of the dome, yes?
The head is on the outside.
The outside? Oh.
Outside.
I just cry over to Grotus, just be like, "Oi, grab that and we'll get him."
Grotus kind of looks over at Moonstone, looks over at the head, looks back at the goblin, goes, "I suppose that's not a bad idea." But he looks over at the goblin. "You gonna let us take this, or are we gonna have issues with it?"
She kind of looks to you. You get this sense that there are hundreds of things she'd like to say to you. None of them pleasant.
Grotus just kind of gives a snicker, goes, "Oh, I see you're a little bitter still, are you?"
You are not great with people.
She kind of looks to you. If you are asking about her skull, I have no use for it.
Great. Can we have it?
She just kind of glares. There's this... You get a sense it means nothing to her, but for sake of spite, she's probably not going to say yes.
Was she the
Pretty
only one?
please?
Sorry, two people talked there. One
Oh,
of you go.
he said, and I quote, "Pretty please."
No response to that.
Gala pipes up afterwards, just, is she the only one?
The base kind of turns, looks towards you. It takes a moment from the goblin, but you do eventually get that she does recognize you. She didn't see you much in the combat. She just kind of stares. I have no reason to give you that information, now do I?
Well, the sooner you gave it to us, the sooner we'll leave, and the sooner we all go on our merry ways.
To be frankly honest, I don't know why we can't just be civil about this. It's a simple transaction. I'm sure we might have some for you as well.
Murdered near all of my remaining children.
Not all of them. We let some go, those that did not harm us. Look, it's simple. If there is another one and they cause grief for you, we can help take care of that one as well. If this is the only one, we can be on our way.
For the sake of it, roll a persuasion check.
Oh, shit.
Oh god.
He was considered helping him.
I can help him.
Too
I
late.
can
The
also-
words have been
yeah.
said. For persuasion, for like these kind of checks, you got to be also adding.
Oh no.
Kessex is just as persuasive as Grotus. We're connected.
Yeah.
Okay. She kind of looks to you with a sneer, looking towards your kind of. I believe you have a weapon already glowing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Looking towards the weapon, she goes, "It means little to me now. I have no children, no clan myself. These forests could burn and cinder for all I care."
Out of curiosity, then, why would you burn these guys as they gesture to the goblin she burned?
They were loyal to it. They were the ones that were necessary for the bringing of tribute to it. Now, with them gone, I imagine there will be issues that I was hoping to seed.
Are you the one who took care of this? And Julie's gestures to the...
To the
head.
Manticore head.
bed. She goes, "I am more dangerous than I may appear at first glance, child."
No, not a child, but alright.
Anyway. Well, I see it. We can take the head and go. But, if you want to tell us where the Manicore is, if there's another Manicore and where it is, and then we'll probably get ourselves killed doing that, you can feel free to tell us that.
Why are you interested in these type beasts? Are you that quick to usher yourselves to demise?
Let's just say we have personal motives.
She kind of looks to you for a moment. I suppose I can understand that. I will tell you this. The magic around me is impervious, but I, of course, would like to leave. Assure that I am able to, and I will tell you of what still remains in this world.
How are we to trust you? You just told us that you could care less if this forest burned.
Of course, but I still value my life, even if some of its meaning has been lost.
Do I believe her?
Roll an insight check.
We have no interest in you particularly.
Nice.
You just happened really to be in the way.
With a 16, you get a sense. While what she said wasn't technically a lie, there's definitely the intent of lying to her right now.
Well,
You get a sense that she is not your friend, she is not your ally. And while she does care to a degree about her own safety, there is definitely a bit of a vengeful taste you get to her.
well, throw in the head. Tell us what we want to know. Now, I see no reason why we can't just walk away.
She kind of looks to you, Moonstone, her vision kind of switching often between the rest of you, always watching to make sure none of you are up to anything. She kind of looks. And I will state what I uttered before was a lie. I did not kill this one. There was an internal dispute.
So,
That manticore did not come here alone. It wished for fresh hunting grounds and brought with her, while not a cub, a younger child. She, of course, enlisted the tribes around, uttering to them that if they paid in tribute of meat, she would spare them.
and which one is that as I gesture to the head? Mother or child?
I'm getting to that. The mother sought deals of meat for her and her child, and they maintained for a month or two. But when the town nearby grew more aptly defended, and losses were had amongst not only my tribe, but others around, meat was slower to find its way to the mother and to the child. Now she doted over this child, but only to her was it still young. Its body was fierce now. It hungered, and if this mother could not feed, it would find its meal. It was her child that did that to her.
Oh. Alright then. And where is this child?
The goblin kind of points in a northeastern direction. A clearing in that direction. 3 hours from here. The rocks stack on top of each other like laid cloth. A small rock formation lays on the highest level, and upon that a nest has been made.
Alright. Moonstone will just kind of straighten his back. Well, I think that's all I want to know. Any of you lot have anything else you want to say?
Feel like Xavier kind of takes off his hat and kind of walks over, kind of slowly over towards the dome, and I'd say would lay down three of his rations and 10 gold, and with a bit of a head bow, he would just kind of say, for what it's worth, sorry. Before stepping back.
As you mentioned that, her face twists from this ire she was holding to pure anger. She looks towards you, Xavier, with a sneer across those sharp goblin teeth. Do not pity, foolish child. I would kill you just the same. I am not so young that I am disillusioned of how the world works. To kill is to be ready to be killed. There are much that would take the lives of me and my children.
I ain't pitying. Taking sympathy, but not. I ain't about to sit here and pretend like I don't know what a mother's love is like. Alright?
The sneer doesn't fade. You're a fool.
No, he's
At
cool.
first
There's
he
a
was
difference.
already tearing up with this sorrowful scowl on his face, but slowly turns into a toothy grin, tear still in his eyes, and he just says, yeah, sorry, fool.
Maybe someone just kind of step in between them, just say, he's not a fool, he's kind, there's a difference.
He
And
steps
if you'll-
back.
And he'll turn back to the goblin and say, and if your people hadn't attacked us a couple days prior, we probably would have tried harder to make a more peaceful effort to get what we wanted.
Julius is also gonna kind of step forward near the dome, kind of crouching down a bit, so more, it's quote unquote eye level with the goblin, and ask, were you able to find the others?
I did not search for them. I know as to where they have gone. It is not somewhere I can follow.
Why is that?
Even in my elder age, I am powerful, girl. There are few tribes that would see me and think of me as purely a boon. I am a great threat to many a goblin, and many of our leaders know that.
What is your name?
It is long gone. I had one before I found myself in chains. But since then, and my new talents arised, I was simply referred to as the Shawmore.
James.
If we come across your other children and used that name, would they know it is you if we were to point them in your direction?
My people cannot survive alone, child. I would rather them lay with fellows that I find detestable than attempt to follow an old ragged fool who would only lead to death.
So what are you going to do out here on your own?
He kind of looks to the camp. I had hoped to set what remains of the goblin camps and the manticore against each other. I wished for one of them to die. I do not care which. to indulge my foolish, vengeful side. From that, I imagine death will find me quickly. I will survive until I am unable to, however short or however long that may be.
Well, have you ever thought about heading off to Teleburg?
Horrible idea.
Well, they got a vouch. Maybe someone will hire them for something.
She would be hunted
My
there,
people
Moonstone.
have attempted to destroy that town for many a time and use its people like turkey legs. My
Yeah.
kind would not be wanted there.
You never know. I've met all sorts of weird people who'd hire goblins, orcs, trolls, anything you really could find. But I guess that's just me.
And you're certain that no others will take you in?
I can yet guarantee it. Amongst the other tribes, I have drawn nothing but infamy.
I don't think we're going to get anywhere with this.
Be my
Hey,
guest, definitely.
Hey, Gross. Grab the head.
Grotus,
I don't think
walk.
we have...
Looking
Grotus-
towards the head now, and as you get a bit closer, there's definitely a pungent scent of a bit of rot from it. For the sake of this, make a medicine or nature check, your choice.
Which one of us, me or?
Grotus, if he's grabbing the head.
Okay, I'll take nature because I'm slightly better at it.
Sure.
Oof.
6. You can tell this definitely isn't fresh by any means. You would have, as to like how long it's not been fresh, but the smell itself is very What's that chemical substance that
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. It's the scent of rotting meat.
Yeah,
And it's like it's very clear as you get closer, like, oh, there's a couple flies.
Was
This
he
has probably
talking
been here for
sulfur?
a time.
I mean,
No.
my guy's
Sulfur.
he's a cook. He knows rotten meat when he sees it.
Yeah. It's you kind of look to the face, and while you imagine a Manticore's face is kind of meant to maintain how it's supposed to look for their natural deceptions, the rest of the head and especially around the mane is just rotted.
Grotus will kind of look at
It's
the
not a fresh kill.
Yeah, Grotus looks at the rest of the party and goes, "This here's been dead for a while now."
Well, we'll take it anyway. And then we can go get a fresh one.
Aye.
And I look to the rest of them. Alright. I think we're about wrapped up here.
Julie stays still in the crouch position because, like, while all that was happening, he was still kind of looking at the goblin. Kind of lingers for a moment, brows furrowing a bit. Am I to understand that you plan on trying to survive until you are no longer able to? Yes.
That is the only reason to live, child.
Do you follow? I'm not familiar with goblin culture. Do you follow any
She kind of looks to you for a moment. The gods of goblin kind have done little for me. A minor faith to Moglibut,
Oh, sorry.
but none to the god of enslavement.
None to what?
None to the god of enslaved.
I know this. I know this will probably not really mean anything to you, or you might believe it might not do much. Do you mind if I offer you a prayer in the hopes that you are able to survive many a day?
She kind of looks to you for a moment, clearly untrusting. You are not my slave, child. I do not control your will.
Common courtesy. Whether human or goblin, I believe it is deserved.
She doesn't seem to care much what you do, so long as it doesn't seem like she's very on edge to see, like, oh, this might be something very clearly against me.
Okay.
But yeah, she doesn't say no.
Julius will have it so his back is kind of facing the others and remove his holy symbol to kind of clasp between his hands and then offer a quiet prayer.
What's the holy symbol look like?
He's using himself to block it.
Well, I mean, Kessis was standing right there.
If he's purposely trying to hide it, how does that work?
If you're
I'd
purposely
say-
trying to hide it, Kessis isn't gonna look.
Yeah, there's that. If somebody wants to look and try to spot it against Kessix's, or not Kessix, against Julius's wishes, it would be
Perception
let's say
versus sleight of
versus perception versus sleight of hand. I'd probably give a
He's
slight
staring at
bonus.
Gallo.
Probably give a slight bonus to Julius because I mean he is a fully armored person with hands. Like it's not too hard to hide something.
Yeah, no,
Gallo
if
will
Kessis sees
try-
you trying to hide it. He's not gonna, invade that.
Bless you, Kessis.
Gallo, on the other hand,
Yeah, Gallo.
he's more out of curiosity. If he sees it, then he sees it. If he doesn't, then he's kind of doesn't really care much.
He's at 18.
So it's a
Ooh.
well, it's a 17. I was gonna give you a flat +2 bonus.
No.
Oh, okay.
Just like a
Yeah.
half cover bonus. But yeah, no, nothing.
Nothing. All right. You don't care.
Well, as Julius does their prayer for the goblin, I would like to ask the goblin a question. I'm not getting down on her level or anything like that, but
Sure.
Kessis will go. And I want to preface this, but I mean this with the best of intentions, so it's sincere.
Oh no.
Where I come from, there was a group that found nobility in death and honor in a noble death. You don't hold to that practice, do you?
Death is the aim. I care little what form it takes.
That's all I need to know. And then Kessis will leave. I didn't want her to... No. Don't worry about it.
Grotus just kind of puts the head in his sack, and as he walks off to leave,
It-
look.
It is large. But yeah, you manage.
Dang, well, or I carry it in his back, whatever. However
It's whatever.
You want.
It's not. I don't like. I'm just saying. Like it's like you're stuffing it. It's like the kid trying to put a basketball in his school bag, kind of thing. Except
Leave the zipper
basketball
undone.
is large.
Like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Put a
Exactly.
hole in the mouth and then just tie a rope through it.
Julius will end his prayer, by the way, and reach for his bag and also remove just 3 rations, kind of looking towards her with a placating of, I'm not doing this out of pity, more just saying, just for insurance that you at least have a few more days. And stand up.
Hey, sorry about that.
Scrotus picks up the head, though, and walks away, just looks over at the goblin, goes, well, to be honest, I think you're more right than the others think you are, but you do what you want. And just wanders off with the head.
I do have to go back. I do have to leave in a second again, just to go grab something.
Sure.
But Moonstone will kind of look at the goblin to say, "Oh wait, anything you want passed on to someone? Knowledge, heirloom, anything like that?"
She just gives you a stare.
Moonstone will just kind of shrug. Being I offer. I am sorry then. Best of luck out there. By the way.
Good luck with your days. Jules will give a small nod and goodbye. Go to the rest of the group.
Gallo will wait a bit and will be the last to leave. And he'll look at the he'll look at the goblin and stare at her for a second. He looks like he wants to say something, but no. I guess what's she thinking about right now?
The goblin?
Yeah.
She is watching every move of the party. And as kind of they get further away, her eyes just continue to focus on you. Essentially watching. You get a sense she's probably not going to stay here, and as soon as she feels it's safe, she's gonna move again.
Okay. He just stares at her a bit more. And keeps his bow in hand, but doesn't look like he's going to be drawing it anytime soon. And then, slowly, he walks away and heads back to the rest of the group. And I'm assuming are they passing through the gate that already had the trap pulled?
Yeah,
Or
you
are
guys are like able to discern where she put her snare traps, and can move past them as you need.
Okay. Yep. We'll follow behind.
All right. With that, you all leave. As the distance gets further and further, the camp starts to fall slowly out of view. Eventually, as it falls away, you continue on the path that was given. With both Shalmar's directions, as well as the fact that this is a path that has been traveled by these goblins in order to bring the tribute, it is an easier one to follow. If there's anything you would all like to do before you attempt to follow the path to its end, or anything you would like to look for, please let it be known now.
I think we were planning to still take a long rest, because it's like, what, 1 o'clock in the morning?
No, it's not there yet. The sun's just setting now.
Oh, I thought it was like late at night at this point. Yeah,
Nope.
my bad.
If anything, Gala would ask the group, so are we heading back to the Red Horn camp with this decomposing head, or are we still planning for a fresh kill?
We're here for a monster.
To be honest, if it was just getting paid, this head might or might not work. It's been dead for a week, probably dead for days, if not longer. Probably they wouldn't believe us we killed it if we brought it in.
Maybe we should send Day just for a bit. I'd say that'd probably be the best choice.
Hey guys, I don't mean to be rude. I had to help my mom out with some dishes and stuff like that.
We walked away, that was it.
Yeah. Also, look at what Zaku's typing.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see her. Okay.
You saw it.
It's all good. Yeah, usually if I'm able to listen, I'll give you what's happening.
I was going to if they didn't.
Seeing how downtrodden he is and feeling very similar, just kind of gives Xavier's shoulder a small squeeze and then lets go before turning to the rest of the group. We should probably try to get some rest before we take on the other one.
Xavier kind of.
Oh, sorry.
Xavier gives a companionable grimace to him, kind of the forced smile people give upon meetings. That same kind of grimace as
we both feel like shit. We can't do anything about it.
And he just I'm thinking rest might be a better choice. Yeah.
We're gonna put a good distance between us and Shalmal, right?
I'm assuming we've already put a couple hours between us. Or an hour or so between us, but I could be wrong. Chris?
Sorry, repeat what you asked?
Have we put like an hour or so walking away from the shot where we met the shaman?
Of course.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
So
you
we're
can
already a
easily-
good distance from her. That's all I was checking. Yep.
Can I check to make sure we're not being followed?
Sure.
Yeah, I was
roll a
about to
perception
ask
check.
that.
I'll let 2 people roll it or 1 with advantage.
Someone with better perception.
You could
I'll
just give
do
me
it. I'm amazing at it, guys.
Gallo, our scout.
Yay!
I'm pretty sure we have the same perception bonus, don't we?
What's yours?
4.
Oh, mine's also 4.
23.
Nice.
Later. Looking about, despite the fact of the territory you are in, the forest is well used, but you don't get a sense that you are being followed at all.
We should be good. Alright. Yeah, I guess in that case it's just on set of watches. If
I
we,
think-
once we start setting down a campsite though, Moonstone will ritual cast alarm.
Of course.
Yeah, Grotus will do what he normally does and sets up a dummy site just outside the way of us.
Sure.
Xavier will go along with that.
Sure thing.
Guess are they making camps? Are they making a fire or only in the decoy site?
At this point, I actually wonder if Grotus would risk a fire right now. Probably, yeah. You know, actually, with the dummy site, Grotus, considering what we know what we're up against, Grotus would probably set the fire up, actually, not do the dummy site, because he's more worried about wild beasts than goblin raids at this point.
Well, we did find out that the Manticore is in league with goblins.
Yeah, but then we also find out, like, most of the goblins are dead.
I'd assume that she said she
Shamans
wanted to
are.
turn them. She
No,
wanted
the
to turn
shamans.
them against each other.
Now that's
so-
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
You do
Okay,
remember
so
there are 2 other tribes in the vicinity of Teleburg within a
Yeah.
couple days.
So
So there's
Grotus
something
would
to
then
keep in
set
mind.
up. Yeah, in that case, Grotus would set up the dummy camp and suggest we do not have a fire.
Okay.
And if we do have a fire, it'll be at the dummy site.
Then, while we still have light, I would like to take a moment to approach Julius and ask for their blade.
Sure. He hands it over.
This is simply ritualistic in its purposes, but... And I will pull out the bloodied whetstone and begin sharpening your sword while reciting in primordial. Just by speaking in primordial.
Okay.
And meanwhile, Gallo will help set up tents and just kind of staring off, nowhere in particular while he does so.
Sure thing.
Julius is now wondering, with Keswick's doing that, when the flowers come out, will they be bloody?
Bloody fellows.
A rose is a finer shade of red.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're
they
painting
are
the
already-
roses red.
I mean, they already are red, so.
I mean, like dripping with blood.
Peculiar and even more peculiar.
I
Grotus.
can see that happens, but
So was Xavier helping Grotus set up the dummy camp?
Yeah.
Well, that's going on. Grotus, while setting up the dummy camp, would probably just look over at Xavier and go, "You're having a bit of a harder time there, aren't you, Xavier?"
He'll kind of wince a little bit and with a bit of a shy smile, just kind of say, "You noticed?
Hey.
It wasn't the finest moment."
As Grotus starts setting up the bear traps, he's like, "Listen, I'm not exactly the best with people, as you know, but there's no problem feeling a little sorry for the enemy, I suppose, but you don't have to realize, Xavier, every time we fight, every time we have to kill, that's someone's kid." As he puts up the tent.
I know. It's just, I suppose with everything that had happened and, our discussion, it's fine, and frankly, it makes me feel a little bit better knowing that I guess feeling bad is a bit normal. And I know how nature normally works and whatnot. I'm more than well aware. It's just, I don't know. I suppose in my arrogance, I may have forgotten that heroes are not above murder.
Gratis kind of looks at him. What we did against them goblins wasn't exactly murder, Julius. They attacked us, they came at us with
Xavier.
their or Xavier. They came at us with their bows, they came at us with their swords. Hell, they could have just let us leave, I suppose.
I suppose it's just, I've told you about my mom and how she viewed me. It just, more than anything, we've fought before with other things and whatnot, but other goblins, but it was something about that look in her eye. I've seen it. Not on her, but in my own mom. It just... He kind of takes off his hat and runs a hand through his hair before putting it back on. It just felt shitty. If you were wondering, it's not gonna make me, jeopardize anything or whatnot. I acknowledge that it's just the weight of what happened, but I don't know. He kind of reaches a hand to kind of place on his shoulder, kind of looking into his eyes, and he just thanks.
You're welcome, friend, but, as he sets it up, I didn't bother asking, because honestly, I don't think she would have told me even if I did, but I'm wondering why, if she seems so set against this manticore she's up against. Why her tribe and the two she apparently dislikes so much, and sets up the second bear trap and starts setting up the fake fire. I wonder why they all teamed up to go attack the fort then.
He kind of sees him habitually making the fire, and he just kind of snaps a finger and causes a little spark to start setting the wood, the tinder, and he just kind of, well, I don't know. Goblin kind is a little confusing as far as what I've seen. I'm sure they have their reasons, if not just for pure disagreements and whatnot.
Probably. Oh well. In any case, what's done is done, I suppose.
Yeah, and his face kind of grows a little tense at first, before he kind of folds his arms a little, thinking heavily before he kind of speaks, before he just... Grotus.
Aye, Xavier?
I know what you told me, and I know that, your temper can get a little, up there, but... And I don't even know this will mean much, but what you said to Moonstone, when you did it, at least in the talk before, I didn't think you actually really meant anything by it. I thought you were just mad, but I don't know. It didn't set me right when you said it.
Kinda looks over at you and sighs. Fair enough. Fact of the matter is, Moonstone's been griping me the wrong way for a bit now. I suppose it's getting to me after all this.
Yeah, but with that kind of thing, you gotta talk about that. I mean, I get why you were mad, definitely inside the moment, but, we are indeed a party, whether or not you like it. And it's important for upkeep and whatnot when it comes to other people that you're working with. It's like trying to manage a boat, and everybody wants to head different direction. I don't know. I ain't saying that. It's wrong for you to be mad. It's just with how you did it is the only problem I got.
Gratis looks over at Xavier and just sighs. Probably you're right. I'll see about apologizing to him later.
Want me to try to be there?
kind of looks over at you with a grin and goes, "It'd probably be okay. You don't really need to be there if you think you'll be uncomfortable about it."
Oh, no, I ain't gonna be uncomfortable. It's just, I mean, you say you aren't too great at talking to people, and Moonstone also seems to have a bit of a temper. I would just hate for something to go wrong.
I guess it couldn't hurt if you want to be there.
Kind of perks up a little bit. Alright. Just, I don't know. Give me a look when you think of starting.
Aye, I'll do that then.
Alright. He kind of takes a moment of companionable silence before he just kind of... Thanks, though.
Thank you, too. It's probably a good thing someone like you's around here, honestly, Xavier.
Think?
He kind of does, yeah. He laughs at that and goes, I do sometimes forget, even the goblins and the creatures that we fight, they're technically people, too. It's nice to know, you know, you have a kind heart.
He kind of smiles a little bit and his eyes go a little doughy before kind of a little bit of a smirk kind of comes on, and he kind of smacks him, kind of punches him lightly on the shoulder before secretly wiping his hand. And he says, "You going soft on me, Grotus?"
Grotus looks down at your injured hand. Well, if I am, you're probably tenderizing me up a bit.
Don't remind me.
In any case, let's head back. The camp's all set up.
Back with Kessex, Julius was kind of very quietly watching him go through the motions of what he's doing. Waits until he's kind of looking like he's finishing up, that he kind of asks, why my blade in particular?
As Kessex finishes up, because he wouldn't stop in the middle of it, but he'll raise up and the blade will be glowing a bright white. And he goes, as I said before, twice today, you've shown that your heart has pure intentions, and a pure heart pumps good blood. Like I said, your blood is strong. And Kessex will hand you the sword. As soon as he hands you the sword, though, the light fades.
Julius kind of looks down at it. A happy small smile kind of coming to his face, but also kind of... It looks like there's a bit of another emotion kind of mixed in with it as well, as he kind of like looks up at him with a bit of a quirk to his... I'll just say it's a first. Oftentimes, never mind.
No, if there's something you wish to say it. These are friendly ears.
Well, he looks down at the blade. I think this is the first time my blood was looked at in any positive light.
Again, that's from a purely neutral standpoint. I have no bias against you. I see exactly what you have shown. Nothing more, nothing less. I know... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I know that if this was a different time and place, my order would have been happy to have you. No matter how you feel about your blood.
There's still very much that complicated look in his eyes, but his smile does grow a bit more. Thank you, Kessex.
Anytime, Julius.
what, this order of yours, if it's all right for me to ask, what had you part from them?
Sorry.
It's a long story, a long tale, but I have not parted from the order. I have just parted from my home. I've come here in search of a sister organization. Our siblings in our ancient quest. Perhaps some of the last allies that I have left.
Is the order that you're part of not very big?
Not anymore.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine. Thank you for your sorrow, but it is unnecessary.
Looking at Kessex, does he seem kind of like unbothered by it?
No. It's sort of lump in the throat type thing.
Julius kind of gives a nod at that and sheaths his sword away and ruffles his hand through his own hair and kind of looks up at the sky. I'm sure your people must have been like family to you.
Some of them were family. It was a great loss, but I have not been trained and I have not been raised to keep my head down. I look forward.
That's very strong of you. I lost a family member myself, so I can understand at least a little bit. I'm sure not to the extent that you had to go through, but at least a little bit I understand.
Grief is different for everybody. Don't
Dylan,
compare yours to mine. What?
your mic is self-destructing.
Is it?
Yeah,
Is that better?
Yeah.
better.
I was twisting the cable around my finger.
Good job.
Grief is a heavy burden. Don't compare yours to anyone else's. I'm sorry you have lost someone.
The complicated look in his eyes kind of worsens, but he nods at that.
Look, no reason to get down now. On another subject, I have, out of curiosity's sake, are you ashamed of your god?
Dweeby, Nikki. I don't know. I think
Uh-oh.
Nikki died.
She straight up noped out of that conversation. Oh my god.
When you ask that, God smited Nikki, and it is all over.
Are they on push to talk?
Well, maybe, no. Probably internet shut
Yeah.
itself.
You know what? Possibly, but usually that would mean they'd log out of the roll 20.
Not
I mean-
necessarily. Mine drops all the time, and I stay in.
Oh,
Yeah,
weird.
same.
I only know that because I don't have to rejoin.
That is
Oh yeah,
fair.
just go right in. Heck in.
Well, while we're doing that, Chris, did that survival or that nature? Oh no, Chris is dead too.
Chris is
Chris,
muted.
muted.
He's just muted.
Chris is muted. So with the survival check, sorry. You do see around. If anyone's wondering what this is, though, this was just Keswick's checking off of thinking that Shama may have been lying to them, or to you all. As you kind of look around, the tracks are very obvious. You're definitely going towards something that the goblins were going with as well. And though it is sparse, there are some points where you look kind of through the tree line and do notice at points.
Nope.
Oh. And do notice at points near the top that some of the branches and tips of the trees have broken, indicating usually something large and winged.
Okay, then I will make the assumption that we are at least heading in the direction.
With the nature check, unfortunately, you get nothing.
Okay, yeah. I didn't figure.
Yeah.
And Dweeby with I think the last thing that you might have heard was don't compare your grief to somebody else's. That's your burden, not theirs.
Yeah, then I had Julius ask another question, but since we're moving on, I'll have him do it.
No. That was just me covering something. That was just something I needed to cover.
Oh, okay.
What I remember is he asked the question out of curiosity, and then you didn't reply. So, but I'm not sure exactly
Both
what
of
you
you
cut off
apparently
then.
were attempting to ask questions, so y'all can choose.
Oh, what was asked? I missed the last thing.
Are you ashamed of your god?
Oh, okay. He looks a bit bewildered by that. No, of course not.
Why do you hide their tokens then? Most holy people I meet wear them with pride. Out of curiosity, I'm wondering why you shelter yours.
He rubs the back of his neck and kind of looks down at the ground at that. Well, it's not. I don't. With what I'm going to say, I don't mean it because I'm ashamed. I'm quite proud to follow him. It's just that whenever, at least at home, whenever I brought up that he's the one that had chosen me, it doesn't earn much of a positive reaction.
Well, I don't know how much comfort it is or how much you believe it, but from what I've seen, these people here have their problems, but I don't think any will judge you for who you are or what you believe. As long as it's not a god of death. Keswick's laughs and gives like a curious look to you, just to make sure it's just not.
He shakes his head at that.
And
I'll be right back.
Heck.
I
Uh-oh.
think it's because they're getting back on their computer. They looked like they were on their phone.
Yeah, they were.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey.
Okay. One second. Okay. He thinks it over for a moment, kind of laughing for a moment after your question, and shakes his head. No, it's not. No. Well. Oh, all right. Okay, yeah. You see like a look of hesitation on his face as he like reaches for where he had kept his holy symbol. Kind of thinking back on the reactions he has gotten, but then kind of shaking it off and taking it out. And what you see is a holy symbol of a blood-stained rack. There are hands with their wrists bound by red cords.
Chris, do I know what that is? 'Cause it sounds pretty fucking spooky.
Roll a religion check. We'll throw it at a DC of 13.
By the way, that's Dylan talking, not Keswick.
I get it.
12. Hey, 13. Hit it exactly. You are unfamiliar with it, as it is not a god worshipped much in where you are from, though it is mildly popular here. It is Ilmater.
Okay.
However you want to put it. Ilmater is often referred to as a god of suffering, but more in the sense that he helps bear suffering of his followers.
Yeah.
Not enough causes it.
I am well aware of Ilmater.
Brett.
But Kessex will smile and just nod at it. And he goes, "It's pretty."
Thank you.
I know nothing of its sources. I'm sorry, but I wish you would wear it with pride, at the very least.
Well, are you familiar with Ilmater?
I am not.
It's sort of, how do I describe? He gets a bit of a embarrassed look on his face. He is a god that protects those who have suffered, the oppressed and persecuted, and offer them relief and support and help their suffering.
Kessex will smile, give a little laugh, and then he will go, "Well, I knew there's a reason we got along. And, my organization is devoted to punish those who cause suffering. Not punish those who suffer, that would be fucked up."
I'm imagining you walk in with, like, a flip-flop and, like, "Stop crying!"
We are kindred spirits. My organization was devoted to punish those that would cause suffering.
Just gets a bit of a boyish grin on his face. So, we all like the sword and shield.
Kessex has a big old grin, because I have a big old grin. That's fucking awesome. Yeah. I suppose so. And then Kessex will reach out just to shake Julius's hand, and he will say, "Nalumbra Vinci."
Julius copies with a curious tilt to his head at that. What does that mean?
Shadows never win.
Shadows never what?
Shadows never win.
Shadows never win. I like that. He gives him a firm shake of the hand.
Good. I believe, I'm glad to have met you, Julius. But I believe it's time for rest, is it not?
Oh, yes, of course. It's been a very tiring day for sure. Have a good rest of your night, Kessex.
You as well.
And, before they go into, unless, oh yeah, because it's we don't have campfire, right? Wait, did
No
we have
campfire,
campfire?
no.
Sorry, I forgot.
No, we don't have a
yeah,
campfire because we're worried about goblins.
Right. Then in that case, yeah. And before the watches begin, Gullah will, after staring off a bit into the forest, he'll find Moonstone.
You can see Moonstone fiddling with these robotic spiders that are just sort of like marching in a sort of like square around a perimeter. And as they get to the where the other one, like the one in front of them started, you see them just sort of like buckle down, and you can see like a little bell come to the bottom of them.
Gullah will meander over a bit more slouched than usual, a little bit slower. And he'll sit down next to him and stare at his pad.
I help you?
He doesn't answer for a second, just continues looking at his drawings. He was drawing, right? My brain.
Yeah, you can see him working on something that, From what you can tell, probably something that sticks into someone's wrist or forearm.
Okay, yeah. Just looks at it, looks at the marksmanship, and I should say draftsmanship. How's your head?
You're gonna have to be a bit more clear on that one, mate.
Side-eyes him, and then looks back at the drawing. And he'll take his pencil and draw a little smiley face in the corner of it, then hand it back.
So just kind of like raises an eyebrow and kind of gives you a curious look.
How's your temper? You had a fight earlier.
Really wouldn't call that a fight.
An uncalled for argument. But how are you feeling now?
Let's just say I thought about how to give. I thought about Gross for a little bit. Realized he probably has a little too much testosterone, and thought about a good way of how I could get him to have a cryovisectomy.
Alright. He opens his mouth and closes it.
I'm gonna freeze his fucking nuts off.
Yeah, I have no idea how I'm supposed to react to that. And he rolls his eyes. But, regardless, you two need to talk.
Pretty sure he said everything he was gonna say.
That wasn't talking.
Damn straight it wasn't, and I have no intention of getting back to that point again. Besides, I've dealt with fucks like him before.
No, listen. I have been traveling around, mostly by myself, yes. However, I have worked in a group before. And even if you butt heads with somebody, even if you do want to castrate them, there are still procedures to be made, protocols, etiquette, courtesy, whatever have you.
I don't think he intends on ever doing something like that, so I don't know why bother.
How do you know then?
Like I said, I've dealt with people like him before.
He finally sits up a bit more and makes eye contact with him. If you don't say something, you won't be heard. And if you assume things, then you'll have no real information. And though it's true that he had said unnecessary insults in his anger, remember, he's a man who takes himself very seriously. A little too much, but he's getting help with that. And we both know what actual shitty people are like.
Yeah, and what do you want me to go say to him?
He will say, let's have a talk. Maybe, I don't know, tell him you didn't appreciate it, what he said.
I think he's very well aware of that. I don't know what's to be gained by talking here.
See, there's a difference between an argument and a discussion, Moonstone. Again, if you don't say anything, nothing will be heard. And you have had some time, and so has he, to cool down. There needs to be a talk of ways to work around each other, or at least come to some sort of conclusion, because at the end of the day, you two are going to be traveling together. And the more that you hold on to between each other, it's going to get worse. And that can turn to more shitty situations, more shitty feelings, more shitty petty fights.
Tell you what, he wants to come over here, tell me he did something bad and that he's sorry. Then I'll listen. Until then, he can go fuck himself in a hole. I don't waste my time on assholes like that.
So if he does come, then you're willing to listen.
Yes, Mom, I'll listen if he comes and talks to me first. With an apology, sure.
Until then, you won't freeze his walls off.
I'll think about it.
He gives him a look and an eyebrow raise.
Kind of gives him an eyebrow raise back, but kind of more of the... Fine. I won't freeze his fucking nuts off if he apologizes.
If I can hold off of fucking our coworkers, which I have, mind you, then so can you with your petty revenge. It gives him one slap on his back.
Ow. Why do you care so much? As long as I've known you, you've always been the sort of cut and run type.
Bold of you to assume I care. And he looks off in the distance. And he just kind of... He tugs a bit on the grass. It's upkeep. There doesn't need to be tension where it's not necessary. If you can avoid it, then do it. It's all part of surviving. And as long as you're with people as much as it is tedious, you're surrounded by them.
You know, it's actually kind of funny.
Mm.
Same day I thought, oh, I knew someone, they proved me wrong, but in a way I was pleasantly surprised in. It's the same exact day, someone did something that I thought I could get along with, that did something that really was not okay. I think things are funny that way.
What happened?
Well, I'm pretty sure you already saw half of what I just said.
Well, the latter, yes. But the other one.
Julius,
Stares at him for him to continue.
granted, we got off on the wrong foot, but
Yeah, no shit.
it seems genuine, which is surprising.
You just found that out.
Alright, let me rephrase that. He sticks to his convictions, and he's not trying to hide a different form of himself, at least as far as I can tell.
You just found that out.
Let me get there. I've met a lot of people from the upper echelons of society.
Mm.
They always tend to be, how should I put it, talking behind each other's backs, never really showing who they actually are, pretending to be something better than they are. I got that air about him at first, but I don't think it's just a persona he's just putting on, you know?
Mm. And as he does the whole list of, these fucking rich people are like this and this and this, his eyes roll one way, it goes the other way, does a half shrug.
Anyway, all I'm saying is, you never know who will surprise you.
Mm. Like I had mentioned before, at least I think I did, he's learning.
Yeah.
But if anything, as I've warned before, and what I always stick by, is that there's always more to people.
Well, maybe I'll just have a talk with him at some point. Get to know him a little better. Like I said, he's-
Dangerous territory to look at only face value, so lucky for you, you get in there.
Well, I try not to judge people until they actually give me something to judge them by. But
Mm,
I don't know. Like I said, I'm sure I'll get to know at least a few of these people, yourself included. So I don't know too much about you. You don't really talk about yourself much.
No one asks. Not that anyone needs to, it's none of their business.
Hmm. What was your life like before when we met? Out of curiosity.
Mm,
I respect
which
your.
part?
How about you said you worked with another group before? What are they like?
Mm. He readjusts himself and his shoulders slump over again in that lazy position he usually has. But there's his fingers tap into the dirt a bit. Just like me. Cold. Generally don't give a shit. Meticulous. High work ethic, I suppose.
Bit of a fuckboy too? Or girl, not gonna judge.
That one's mine.
What the hell?
But
Is there a bee in my room?
You wanted to say hi,
you're saying hello when spring is here.
so I let him in.
Dude, I'm deathly allergic to bees.
Oh,
no, it's a
no.
stink bug. It's a stink bug. We're good.
Stink bugs are fine.
Your phobia is disabled.
But he continues. Overall. Yeah, no. Working with them is just work. People here are much more open, I suppose, in comparison.
Honestly.
What about you?
Oh, me?
You come from a far place, right? Why'd you leave?
Just a student roaming about, trying to learn a few things.
And what's the point?
Let's just say I'm doing it for someone.
Personal reasons?
Personal reasons.
Their reasons or yours?
Guess you could say both.
Is it gonna kill you in the end?
The path I might take to try to get there might, but the end goal shouldn't.
It'd be a waste if you did. Don't
What
get
happens?
killed. Yeah, that's true.
Death comes to us all at some point. Might as well try to enjoy the moment while you can.
Enjoy it. Right.
I think you know that pretty well, considering what you do with your spare time. You a disgusting piece of shit.
Yeah, fuck off, asshole. You doing watch? Which one?
I'll probably take first.
I'll have a talk with Grotus. See if he can initiate whatever it is you're looking for.
Apology would be nice, first off.
Well, that's on him. Anyways, you keep doodling. He gets up and is gonna...
I've told you 1,000 times it's not doodling.
looks like doodling to me. I don't understand it.
Well, maybe one day I'll sit you down and we can talk about it. Yes, nerd shit. You might learn something. Oh no.
Sit down. If I get to sit on your lap, maybe. He smirks at him.
Is that a threat or a promise?
Depends on how you like it.
Gabby, fuckboy.
Don't call me that. And he'll walk off to the others.
Alright, fine.
Alright, so with that, we'll get watch orders set. First watch.
Bella's gonna head over to Grotus. And, oh, were you gonna say something? Nope. Okay.
I was just gonna get watches set up, but if you want to say something first.
Oh, yeah. I'll look at Grotus and hey.
Xavier's likely still there, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. He'll, yeah, he'll give him a nod of acknowledgement and a sort of look signaling that he's, you know, since they both decide to have, like, you know, this talk, right? Getting the two away from each other sort of deal.
He looks like he doesn't understand what the what the nod is at first, but after like a continued look, he just like nods with like a little, and he just nods.
Yeah,
happily.
he like. At first, like, as seeing his confusion, he continues to stare at him for like a couple more seconds, rolls his eyes, and then has to, like, you know, nod at Moonstone, nod at Grotus, and then look at him again, which is like, are you serious?
He's trying.
He's trying his best. He just shakes his head and rolls his eyes again, and then looks at Grotus until he acknowledges him.
Grotus looks over at Gallows and just kind of gives him a nod.
You mind doing first watch with me?
If that's what you want, sure.
Alright. Then looks at Xavier. Which watch are you doing?
He kind of like... He kind of seems to take a quick moment to like think about it at first. He... Fuck! I hate him! Depends. What's Moonstone's? And he will go out of his way to just wink right in front of him.
Oh my god! Just Gallo, like, he had crossed his arms while waiting for him, and then, like, as the longer he waited, the more his fingers tapped on his bicep, and then it just does like another tap and like a slight scratch to his fucking wink.
Off to the side, Julie just leans over to Cassix and is just like, are they doing sign language?
Meanwhile, Grotus is standing by watching all of this. Since you just talked to him, he starts rubbing the bridge of his nose.
God, yeah. Just Gallows is really tempted to do the same, but just... I'm not sure. Maybe you should ask him.
Yeah, ask. And he kind of slaps him on the shoulder before walking away.
I'm really glad Moonstone is absorbed in what he's doing.
I have nothing to say. Just please take care of my son.
I have a quick question, though.
Huh.
Who in the party has dark vision again? It's Moonstone, Gallo, and...
Grotus.
Grotus.
Ah, shit. So, in that case, with that in mind, I'll say... No, wait. Now that I think about it, since we don't have a fire... I can still take first watch, but maybe you should take one with someone who's blind.
Xavier kind of takes a moment, like after realizing that he can't really see, and he kind of walks back in the area. Actually, about that probably ain't the best idea.
Moonstone has dark vision. You'll be fine.
Yeah, but don't the both of y'all do, right?
That's what I
Aye.
was just discussing.
Nah, just like I always notice that neither of y'all ever have like problems when it comes to the darkness. I ain't ever. Right. Mama always told me about people who are like that. Okay, never mind.
Dark vision. It's a thing.
Right. Yeah. I ain't really ever met anyone that had that. But yeah, you both of y'all probably shouldn't, because then that just leaves Kessex and Julius and well.
Yes.
Actually, yo, do you mind if I do a watch with you real quick, or?
I'm fine with that. I just need to have a discussion with Grotus really quick then.
Oh yeah. I'll get out both y'all, y'all's hair, and he'll like walk away again, and he's like in the wrong direction. So he just like he doesn't create a flame full on, but he creates a few sparks to just like barely be able to see where he's going.
Greta's
Gallo's just like, oh, sorry.
Greta just lets out a sigh, and he's just in his head. It's like, I really do know how to pick my friends, don't I?
Gallo, was watching Xavier the entire time, like his eyes never leaving his back, and just watching these tiny flames happening, and just shakes his head.
So you wanted to talk, Gallo?
And just quick.
Kind of looks at you. Well, assuming from everything said and done, it's not exactly hard to figure out what you want to talk to me about.
Well, how do you feel about it then?
I wouldn't worry. Xavier already spoke to me about it. I'll give him an apology. I just honestly, he was griping me.
I mean, he can be an idiot. I've seen it. You get used to it over time. And he looks off to the others of the camp and watches Moonstone do his doodling. And watches Xavier walking back to the right direction. And side-eyes Grotus. You know, as I told Moonstone, usually I'd be working alone, and I have for a while. Actually, I believe the same amount of years you have. 6. I used to work in a group before, though. And, well, you and I both hate people. Sucks to be around them. They're annoying, tedious. Everyone's selfish. So, of course, headbutting happens. But you do have to make your ways around them. Both have to. Discussion versus arguments.
Grotus just kind of looks at Gallows, lets out a sigh, shakes his head. Fair enough. For the time being, you're right. We'll patch things up and stay out of each other's way for most of it. But as he goes off and he's about to walk, but for the time being, as you know what I'm after. And honestly, probably when I get it, I'll be more than happy to be rid of civilization and people again for a while.
Understandable. I'm still keeping an eye out, mind you. So, if I find anything, I'll let you know.
Grotus kind of lets a chuckle out of that. It's not exactly a place to keep an eye out for, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Don't associate sentiment with me. I don't have enough of it.
Suppose it's another thing you and I have in common then, don't it?
Unfortunately. For us, anyways. And, Grotus,
Aye.
I know the world is dark, right? Not a lot of great things about it. But while you're alive and you're already existing anyways, don't take yourself so seriously. Because trust me, it's tiring.
Grotus kind of gives Gallo a slight look at him and just kind of assessing and you know what, Gallo? I take the world as serious as the world is, and just starts walking.
It is as much as you want it to be. Alright, it's your life. And he'll walk off back to the others and help set up the rest. And kind of does a eyebrow and squinting, confused as to why there's more blood on swords happening here.
Grotus literally just ignores it.
With chanting.
With
They're not social
chanting.
distancing.
God, yeah. And then we can start our watches then.
For sure. First
And,
watch.
Rhythm is gone!
Don't worry. For the
I
first watch.
think it was going to be
Gallo
Xavier and Gallo, yeah.
All right. The two of you make perception checks then. Xavier, make it at
Disadvantage.
not you, Grotus. Like I'm giving disadvantage just so I can get an equal under.
Ooh.
Beautiful. 13.
For sure. With that, also,
We're not a very wise party.
one
Is it
person.
alright if I... Or, go ahead.
I also need one person to roll me a d6.
I want to
Dibs.
do it. I like... Oh, wait, I said I want to do it first. You know what? Nah. I concede to you. But you are a black cat, so remember, you are covered in bad luck.
Yep, that was the worst one.
Oh.
Sad face!
Was it really the worst one?
Okay. So,
How many of us are
First
going to
watch.
survive?
I would like to point out I do have the alarm spell up.
I'm aware.
Okay.
Too bad it doesn't cover things underground. No, I'm kidding. So,
Purple worm just comes up, destroys
yeah.
it.
As the two of you sit looking towards the darkness and the fake campfire a decent ways away, nothing interrupts your watch.
Is it fine if I can have a little discussion with Gallo?
Yeah.
He
Y'all
kind
can
of...
talk for as long as you want.
Nah, he just wanted to... So, how did your discussion with Moonstone go?
For the most part, he's open to talking, but only if Grotus approaches him. And it seems you had that covered already, so from there it's up to them.
Yeah, I had said that I was going to be there for the actual talk. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think I can do way too much, but if I can at least keep their hands off each other's throats, that'd be nice.
Well, I think I have that end covered anyways, as far as Moonstone goes.
Right.
He wanted to freeze his balls off, literally. You know,
Uh-huh.
magic and all that. Well, alchemy.
Damn, I knew Moonstone was angry, but that's just cruel.
Nah, he's just a petty bitch.
He kind of like tilts his head at that specific wording. It's just, unless I'm mistaken, ain't y'all like friends or something?
Ew.
I see how it is.
He like looks again and he's like, "Ew."
What?
I mean, y'all. Some. Okay, I ain't exactly the best at picking up on a lot of details, but I for sure did not imagine y'all like actually being somewhat companionable. Like, damn.
Mm, well, we talk shit at each other without trying to kill each other. So, if that means anything.
I guess it's just I don't know. I mean, this is kind of a weird question, but
Mm.
you, uh, I'm not. I can usually pick up a little bit from people, but it's kind of difficult with you.
Good.
And is that he kind of like purses his lips, trying to kind of find the right words, looking in your approximate direction, but not at it directly.
Well, Gallo is looking at him and just watching his eyes dart about, trying to purchase, like, his general face and kind of smirking at it, finding amusement in his blindness.
Frankly, in the darkness, he kind of forgets that you guys can still see him. So he's yeah, but yeah, no, he just kind of like in confusion. He's well, I mean, I get the point of it. Don't know who to trust or whatever. At least that's what I think you're thinking. But I mean, you got many friends?
No. Well, friend, that word is complicated. I've had people call me friend. It wasn't mutual.
Were you ever like that? Yeah, have you had that before?
Where I come from, there's no such thing. There's only connections, networking. With one exception.
He kind of quirks an eyebrow.
Children. At least one child, anyways.
What do you mean by that?
He'll think for a moment and considers whether or not he'll say anything, but given that Xavier doesn't really know where he's from, wouldn't have any context with who this person is, he'll give another huff. This one child, she in a ways, I guess, proclaimed that we have a friendship. And though there isn't anything to gain from being around her, giving a shit in the first place, suppose I didn't mind being around her for the time that I was.
Well, that's good.
She's a little shit, don't get me wrong.
They usually are.
Gets herself into trouble. A little too much, then I have to save her tiny ass. She must be, I don't know, 12 years old now.
Right. Well, I I ain't gonna pretend and sit here to pretend I got wisdom that I don't have. But
Mm,
I mean, as far as I don't know, may surprise you, but back in Kelligan, I had quite a few friends. The only problem was is that it kind of only seemed to be when it benefited them. Um,
mm,
you know,
sounds familiar.
Xavier do this or Xavier do that or Xavier help me with this or Xavier help me with that, and well, I don't know. I suppose it kind of felt nice, at least in the moment, but to feel needed or whatever. But
To be used.
kinda, yeah. As weird as that sounds, but I guess it's just like I don't know. I guess that was kind of my only definition. It really only began to change when I met Grotus and y'all. I don't know.
What's the difference?
Well, I mean, I know that we all met and we're essentially co-workers, right? But
Mm,
I don't know. I, I cannot speak for everyone necessarily, but I mean, Moonstone's the only person, really, other than my mom, that was patient with me. Grotus was the only other person, other than my mom, that actually seemed to be kind of proud with my own achievements.
mm,
And well, Julius is the only one I ever met that actually kind of shares my goal. And before with other people, it felt nice, but it was weird being surrounded by so many people, but I still kind of felt lonely. And I suppose with everyone here, I don't quite feel that as much. And well, it's nice. Now, of course, and he kind of raises his hands in defense. I don't expect you to just begin, I don't know, making friends left and right, but if you're anything like me, which is admittedly quite a uh, quite a hard bargain, or what's gamble? Yeah, that's a word. Uh, I don't know. I think it might help you in the long run. I think as someone you can depend on.
As he was listening, he didn't speak, but he continued to look off into the tree line. And as he ends, he doesn't reply right away. Almost a beat too long to where you wonder if he was listening or not. You have to rely on yourself first and foremost. At the end of the day, if you can't even do that, we all end up dying, and we'll die alone. No matter who you surrounded yourself with, what bonds you may have made, it's still you in the end.
Yeah, but you can have other people right along you, with you, you know? I mean, yeah, that's right. Rules of nature and whatnot, but, you know, there wouldn't be a whole bunch of us if life was meant to be lived alone.
Suppose you're right in that sense. People still need people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No laps to sit on if no one else was around.
What was that?
No laps to sit on if no one else was around.
He kind of, again, that look of, huh? kind of appears on his face.
You can't see it, but he's smirking.
After a little bit of sputtering, he's just, suppose that is also a reality. He kind of like takes a moment of like the quiet and the darkness, and he's just, well, if at least if you have trouble relying on people, I mean, you can always rely on me to start a few handy fires every now and then.
Handy fires. The ones I'm looking for isn't the one that you're thinking of.
What you mean?
You know, warmth, help, an extra hand in places that they don't normally go.
Is this another one of your he kind of like takes a moment to like think really heavily.
He lets him think. Take your time. Any minute now.
No, like, I got what you meant. It was one of your innuendo whatevers, but it was. I'm being serious.
I
Go
don't
to say it.
understand what you're getting at.
He kind of scratches his head, and it's like, yeah, never mind.
No.
Maybe I could explain it a little bit better when I'm not tired.
I'm just saying the offer's open.
That's
No strings
not.
attached.
He looks like a mixture between a little bit flustered but also frustrated because his point got completely walked over. Never mind.
No, I get what you mean. I'm messing with you.
He kind of squints.
Well,
Again, 5
half
degrees
messing
off.
with you.
Uh,
The offer is open, but I understand what you're trying to tell me. I will consider this friendship thing, but currently I don't quite see the appeal just yet.
you'll see. And almost as if the previous pout didn't exist, he just kind of flashes a bright smile. You'd at this point begin to notice that little wisps of, like almost little flickers of fire kind of happens a little bit more whenever he's in a amiable mood.
Don't go ablaze now.
He also is not aware of it when it happens, so he's like, what?
He points at and then realizes he can't see. You got embers around you.
Oh, yeah, and he just like starts slapping at them. Yeah, sorry about that. Force of habit, I guess. Oh, Chris, are you back?
Yeah, I've been back for a while.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he'll continue to look off into the distance, and if he sees any embers looking like they're about to catch fire, he immediately pats down.
They're interesting because they're little puffs, almost wisps of flame, but they put out just as much.
Okay.
It's only when he really gets antsy that they begin to actually catch things.
I mean, a pat may end up being an accidental one, quote unquote.
Sad face.
So,
But yeah.
is there anything else for your guys' watch?
Nope. Who was the next to go for their watch?
We never actually discussed that.
Huh. Heck.
I will say Moonstone will get up for a second watch.
Sure.
Alright.
Alright. Gala will get up, give a nod to Moonstone, and not before just a light finger tracing over Xavier's arm, since discussing and already flirting with him anyways, before walking off. So it's your turn.
Out of curiosity, does anyone want to take the watch with me or no?
Sure,
Well, I
Kessex
mean-
can.
Yeah.
Moonstone
Yeah,
will go
since,
with-
since we didn't discuss Julius, we'll just be sleeping the whole way.
Moonstone will go wake up Kessex. Hey, Mike.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Kessex will stumble out and do his watch.
All right. With that, perception check for me.
13. Hey, perception buddies.
Hey.
14. Okay. As the two of you sit, keeping your eyes open, as darkness takes the entirety of the night and only the few seldom stars giving any reprieve from it, your watch is also an event.
While we're taking that watch, could I work on that design a bit more?
You can.
Medicine check then?
Yes, still a fairly high DC.
5.
Nope.
Ah.
Okay.
That dot launch might take a little longer. Trying to have a little trouble making this one work.
It's no problem.
But we're taking down that Metacore tomorrow. Are you excited or?
I'm eager, yes. Quite so.
Let me ask you this. Assuming the reward's hefty enough, are you going to try to get Hellman back, or?
If the opportunity presents itself, yes, I believe it's the correct thing to do. I think we should. But my opinion is but 1/6 of the weight.
That's fair. It makes me feel any better. I'd also like to try to get Hammond back if I can.
Good to know.
Man's a bit more valuable than some corn. What do you say?
I do not know him.
He's intelligent. I can definitely say that. He's like me. He's a tinkerer.
I can't speak one way or the other about him. All I know is my gut tells me that he needs help, and I would like to help.
I gotta respect that. Just fair warning, if we do get him, man has a bit of a, we'll call it, difficult to approach attitude.
It affects me very little. I have no reason to approach him.
Alright then. Boy.
Thank you for the warning, at least.
You seem like a good guy. Might as well give you a good warning.
I think
If
that's
nothing
it.
Yeah. You guys pass a watch uneventfully. Grotus, are you taking the last watch alone, or do you force Julius awake?
Or do you take it with Sickle?
Yeah, I guess we have Sickle still here. We
You
keep
do.
forgetting.
I keep forgetting that Sickle's
I'm aware she's there. Don't worry about it.
It's because Sickle's not on the token. Grotus looks down at Julius, looks over at Sickle, thinks about it. Is like, do I even want to? Really? Do I want to?
Risk my life or risk my sanity? Difficult choices.
Walks over to Julius.
You get tickled.
Sickle will continue to sleep then.
Crotus bends down. Julius, wake up.
5 more minutes.
Oh, for the love of... He's just gonna grab Julius by the hair and lift him.
Oh! Bloody,
I said,
hell.
get up.
bloody hell! Go to fuck to sleep. Or quiet. Fuck it. Moonstone turns over, goes back to bed.
Julius is desperately smacking at the hand in his hair. Let go!
He lets go as soon as you wake up, but...
Ow! It rubs his head. Have you ever heard of simply shaking a man?
Hi, I called your name. You said 5 more minutes. I wasn't willing to wait.
You just have to shake my arm. That was not necessary. Ow!
Well,
my
be
heart-
thankful. If I was an enemy coming up and sneaking up on you, I would have just slit your throat.
Is that your way of trying to excuse your actions? Ow!
He looks at you. Oh, there's no excuse in my actions. I did it because that's what I felt like waking you up like. And he walks back over to the campsite to take watch.
God.
What a fucking asshole.
So,
Julius stands up, rubbing his head.
He has no patience for this shit.
one of you, Grotus, make a straight perception. Julius is at disadvantage because you don't have dark vision, and it's dark out.
But you get advantage if you say please.
You don't.
That's right.
A 19, okay.
Julius
So-
is too distracted by his hair.
I'm putting it back in place.
I'm
As
doodling on the map.
oh right, I'm not on the same map as you guys. I can't see what you're doodling.
That's why I
Okay.
said the doodles.
Oh, I see. No, yeah, I'm on a different map, so I can see it.
What's mine?
Your hair.
So, as the two of you sit and watch through the final hours of a pitch dark night, nothing immediately bothers
Immediately.
Well, at least it looked like it's a quiet night out.
Just kind of just sitting uncomfortably.
It's just kind of... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Since I see Grotus is just kind of sitting there looking out at the night, hawk-eyed aware.
And Julius is just the entire watch is just completely silent. Like he glances his way on occasion, but then brings his attention forward, just staying quiet the whole.
Fair enough. After the watch, Grotus walks over to wake up everybody else.
Well, the watch isn't done yet.
Oh, okay.
I was giving
my
you a
bad.
chance to talk,
Grotus
if
looks
you
over.
wished.
No, Julius is just very uncomfortable right now.
Grotus
Alright.
don't give a flying fuck.
Grotus,
God.
then, with a 19, as you kind of keep eyes open, watching through the constant, surprising silence of taking a watch with Julius. That silence is broken, and you hear in the
1 second.
distance at first. Fuck, destroying my tension belt up.
Oh my god.
Sorry, my brother just called me.
It's good.
Is it a mariachi band?
Are you free to? Are you good, or did you leave?
He's
He's
Aw.
left. Okay.
Bring it back.
We'll wait till he
Come
comes back. Okay.
the one person that you need to be here to listen to it just left the building.
As you
No,
listen,
I'm just laughing at the idea of a mariachi band just walking through the woods.
yes, it's very
God.
funny. As you listen out, you hear it in the distance. The heavy beating of wings on wind.
Grotus immediately goes, everyone get up now!
Does this mean we don't have a long rest?
Not in the immediate moment.
I think it's a bad time to do a ceremonial ritual.
Grotus, as you kind of watch and slowly start to wake up your companions, you see in the distance, at that trick camp you made, you hear the breaking of branches around, and then an impact. The fire immediately goes out from the impact of the wind, and you can just hear something, just this pawing. You hear the dirt kind of shifting, though your vision is slightly obscured from the distance that you put. Something found your trick camp, but doesn't seem to have found you.
Just going to very quietly just back behind a tree.
Yeah,
Those
Gala's
covers-
also going to hide.
Will everyone make me a perception check right now?
Oh,
Wait, did somebody wake everybody up? Because
Grotus
Yeah.
says, Julius hits
Right.
it. As this is a hearing check, you're not suffering disadvantage.
Oh shit. Oh.
As you all kind of are woken up by Grotus, listening now for the sound of something moving on the ground, Julius just barely, along with the sound on the ground, you hear a beating set of wings as well. At a different direction,
Oh no.
Like, it sounds like there's two?
perhaps.
Manta War.
Julius immediately turns to the group, whispering to them, but so that those don't hear, but whispering loud enough that they could hear. Is just like, I think there are two of them.
Just get low. As Moonstone just tries to make himself as small as possible.
For sure. What's the DC to find your trap, by the way? Remind me. Grotus?
Let me check. I don't know. I think I have to set it. So, I mean, I obviously set the camp up. That might be a survival check I had to make to set it up. But let me double check that.
I think
I
it's
know-
a flat. Well,
There's a trap to avoid it.
Oh, that's what it is. It's Dex trap to avoid it. So it rolled terrible on perception, so we'll just say that as you kind of hear the clanking of it. The 6, you hear kind of the trap go off. This like just, and you hear just this like something breaks. That second, listening through, you can still hear that second pair of wings beating above you. And this still one moving across the ground. I'm aware it's off, don't worry.
Just checking.
You listen and wait for a moment. With a sneer, the first creature. Once again, wood is cracked and torn around. And with two sets of wings in clear presence by the sound, you do hear them leave. They rolled terrible perception and didn't find your actual camp.
Oh, thank God.
Oh.
Did we get a look at these creatures while they were fucking
No,
with the camp?
I don't imagine.
If
There
they
would
were
be some
60
different-
feet of us, we would be screwed.
Would you have put the camp within 60 feet?
Oh, hell no. The camp is like
Yeah.
5 or like 3. Like I say, it's just in the distance where I can hear screaming distance. Like we're talking
Yeah,
a few hundred
and that's
feet
kind of-
minimum.
That's what I assumed.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
To those of you that think, and those of you that were maybe skeptical about it before, a bit more of what Shama may have hidden does start to come to light. A manticore that killed its parent, and Shama hoping to turn creature against its friend. Perhaps she wasn't trying to turn the goblins against the manticores by cutting off their food. Perhaps she was trying to turn them against each other.
Julius is just full on shaking.
You hear the sounds of the two massive beasts start to dwindle and dwindle, diminish to a point of silence.
Well, there's apparently 2 of them then.
Tomorrow's going to be very interesting.
Can I say Xavier didn't wake up?
The choice is yours.
God.
Because unfortunately, that's just him.
I mean,
His feet
Grotus
still
woke
sticking out.
everybody up. I mean, he wouldn't have let anybody sleep through this.
He's a heavy sleeper. All right, that's fine. He's like barely awake. His one eye is like still half lidded, and the other one's a little bit more open.
There are two of them. Of course, there's two in them.
Well, that definitely
that's-
changes things.
Two of them on the hunt, but it looks like the goblin had a plan.
Shulma might have had a good idea turning them against each other. All right then.
Unfortunately, the other way this could go down is they just go out hunting wider areas, possibly attacking the town.
Hmm.
Now they attack the town. The Red Horns are going to be there to get involved. I don't think that these things are apparently intelligent enough not to be idiots. So
Well, that's my
Nothing will worry
point,
about that.
though. Better can attack the people going through the town. You think the goblins are bad?
that I have no doubt of. But all right, well, let's finish our rest and come up with a game plan.
If anything, we can most likely take care of one, but two at a time would be difficult. We could let the town know so they could take care of the other one.
Grotus
Not
looks
this two. I want to take two. It doesn't have to be at the same time, but
I think the fact is we're not going to find them separate. If I was going to guess, they're probably mates.
No, they might be siblings.
That could
Based
be
on
two.
what Shulma said.
whatever
They're in the
case
wrong
is.
state. They could be both.
They're in the Deep South Manticores. Way to go.
Oh, we don't have a problem then.
Whatever the case is, we will need a good night's rest tonight.
Agreed.
Was Gallo able to tell maybe like the two Manticores, like their ages, anything about them?
You couldn't even see them.
Okay.
You
They're
heard
a
them.
ways away.
Mhm.
Yeah, you heard them.
Oh, right, they were at the other camp.
They were at the
far away.
other
Okay.
camp. Yeah, they didn't like land in
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
camp.
Okay,
like
never
looking
mind.
around.
Which is why
They're like,
Gallo.
they're like the T-Rex. It's just like if you don't move, they can't see you. So we just all went.
Was the
Don't
D6 the number of manticores?
God.
Yeah, I had that thought.
I hope not, because if we had to fight 6 Manticores, this is a party wipe just waiting to happen.
Either way, Keswick goes back to leaning against the tree and prepares for his night of rest.
Oh, that's right. You sleep standing up.
I sleep sitting up.
Julius returns to be super uncomfortable, but now also super scared.
Before Moonstone goes to bed, he'll go over and whisper to Julius. By the way, you and I need to have a talk at some point.
Uh, shakes off the fear that's like muddling his head right now to look at you. Well, in your direction at least. Alright, did I do something wrong?
No. No, I just won't talk.
Alright then.
Alright, I'll give him a good, 2 pats on the shoulder. Don't worry, it's only just a monster with 3 rows of teeth, human face, leathery bat wings, claws thicker than a... you know what?
Moonstone,
That might be
shut
something to be
up.
worried about. Alright, fine. Hey, you know what the best part is, though? If we don't get near them, they can't hit us.
That is not even close to true.
Oh, yeah, that's not true. That's not true, is it?
We have definitely discovered weapons made from the things they fucking throw.
Shoot at
Now-
people.
Wait, no, never mind. They can hit us from a range. But they're not as dangerous at a range.
Moonstone, shut up.
I'm really not helping him, Mike. Alright, I'm sorry. Good night.
Go to bed.
Yeah. Just going to bed. I had every intention to help, by the way. I realized I did all the wrong things.
Julius is full on trembling now.
God,
As
go
Julius
then
Just
we'll-
went into fact and analytical mode when he really shouldn't have. It's like, wait, no, this is the wrong thing to say. Fuck, I messed this up. Well.
As they go back to bed, though, Grotus will notice Julius's fear and kind of give a sigh and go, for the love of... Listen, lad, there's nothing to be worried about.
I think we did see that there is something to be worried about.
He kind of Xavier will stir and kind of Julius, there really ain't much to actually worry about. Remember, we dealt with what other things? Fucking war beasts and goblins. This'll be no different problem. Promise.
Uh,
Grotus looks over at Julius and goes, listen, the fact of the matter is we now know there's two of them. We know where they are, they don't know where we are. And the fact is that as long as we keep our cool, work together, and move in without taking any unnecessary risks, I guarantee you we'll be fine.
Sure.
Grotus sighs and just listen, lad. I've killed a few monsters before. You'll be fine. Just don't panic.
Right. Don't panic. I can do that. Panic. I don't panic. I'm cool. I am calm. I am composed.
Let's out a sigh. He goes, you're not gonna panic, are you?
No, of course not.
Grotus just glares right at him, kind of giving an intimidating, like, tell me the truth, lad.
He can't see him.
Fair enough.
God.
Man, what a jackass.
We cannot let you go and panic. You hear me? You panic, things are gonna go really, really wrong.
I'm, as I said, not panicking.
Just kind of looks at him. Recalling first goblin attack, Goblin Village.
The ghost, quote unquote.
The ghost, exactly. Like all the panics. And he's like, you sure you want to be here with us?
I'm sorry?
Are you sure you want to be doing what we're doing here and now? And I want your honest bloody opinion on this.
That is a very loaded question.
Julius.
I was doing this when you guys were asleep, because we're still in our watch at this point, because we were in the middle.
No, you guys were at the end.
Yeah, but we weren't over, because remember? We had to go back for a full rest.
Oh, no, I thought you meant watch order, not...
Not watch order, no.
Hated.
Because Grotus is just looking at Julius with this and is like, listen, Julius, you need to be sure this is what you want. Because I'm telling you right now, if you panic, if you're having issues, if you're having doubts, you're going to get yourself killed and possibly one of us.
As I said, it is a very loaded question. Who in their right mind would want to fight these sorts of creatures? But there are circumstances that sort of leave us with no. So it is a loaded question, neither yes or no.
Then let me rephrase the question. Are you certain you can?
Whether I can or not, I am going to.
Grotus looks at him. Fair. But make sure, and I mean it, keep your wits about you, okay?
I am always cool as a cucumber.
Let me tell you something, Julius. I'm blunt. I don't like people. And I'm not much for showboating. And this time he's gonna lean in, so even without your dark vision, you can see him.
He goes very stiff now and actually kind of flinches.
Lives are on the line. Don't pretend something you're not. Got it?
The shaking momentarily stops to a hard stare, kind of like a flicker of defiance in his gaze. You know, I've been holding my tongue for a while, but I really have to say, Gertis, you remind me a lot of my brother. I am going to do this, no matter if I can or can't, or if I am capable. Alright? And kind of looks away.
Fair enough, he says. But as I said, it's not just your life you're playing with if things go wrong. And he goes back to finishing the watch.
For sure. With that, if there is nothing else, the watch will reach its apex. That's the wrong word, but whatever.
The end.
We
have the apex of the watch.
I was thinking of saying another word for conclusion, essentially.
Yeah.
The watch will reach its end. You will all gain the benefits of a long rest.
Yay!
I get 4 hit points back.
Essex
Woohoo!
will perform his daily ritual.
Of course, your daily ritual of smearing a substance only manticores can smell. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I have.
That's a
Hey!
good sign, guys.
Hey!
Julius is doing his morning workout.
Question. I have 4 temporary hit points and I don't remember where it's from. Do I still have that?
No.
They would be
They would
gone.
You
go
got
away
that
at the end of the rest.
from Xavier's Bulls and Dirt.
Alright,
You don't have
then
those anymore.
it is gone.
Yes.
Good to know. Thank you.
Moonstone will be pouring out his experimental elixir and just kind of look around. Julius,
Yes.
catch. He'll throw it to you.
It bonks him in the head.
That's the sound that wakes Xavier up.
Moonstone just kind of shakes
The
his head.
sound
a
that
little bit.
lures the manticores to you.
Shut up!
What is
Moonstone
it that he
shakes it.
threw?
Man,
Just a little flask, just like nothing dangerous. Just he lightly tossed it to you.
I know, he was not expecting it.
What's in it?
He looks at it curiously. What's this?
Liquid courage, not just alcohol.
Squints a bit, then opens the cap to sniff it.
You would probably smell something that is the faintest hint of, savory.
It's not alcohol, you said.
No. Essentially, what it'll do is it'll make you a little bolder. So, for your information, what this does is that, basically, you drink it, and for the next minute, anytime you roll a attack roll or a saving throw, you get to add a D4.
ooh.
Ooh.
I
A
had
little
rolled
bit of the
boldness.
bless spell, yeah.
It does not work for damage rolls or ability checks, but just attack rolls and saving throws.
Yeah, attack
No,
rolls and
bless.
saving.
Yeah, it's bless.
Bless, yeah.
I wish you hadn't phrased it as that's what it is. Damn it. Julius kind of just screws the cap on.
but that lasts for only a minute. So basically, it basically makes you hit better and more resilient to the world.
No, don't try to save him. He's watching you.
He kind of hesitates because it looked like he was about to actually hand it back, but then pauses at that. Oh, so it's not actually outer of mood or anything.
You'll probably feel a little pep in your step.
It's a physical boon. Don't worry, he's not trying to change who you are for a moment.
No, I just... he kind of rubs the back of his head uncertainly. Were you listening in on the conversation that I had last night? Is that why?
I was fucking asleep. I have no idea what the hell you were talking about.
And this is not being given because you think I might hold your back, right?
Wait, say that again?
You're not gifting this because you think I might weigh the lot of you down, correct?
You fucking annihilated 2 goblins without even looking. You can take a hit. Yeah, I'm fairly certain you're not weighing us down.
In the distance, Xavier is pissing on a tree, and he kind of looks around over his shoulder and is like, "Come on, dude, you're great. What are you talking about?"
Julius looks at him, is about to say something, then quickly looks away.
Oh no, he's the view was gone. He's facing away from you all.
All right. He's had since waking up. He's been kind of a somber mood, but it kind of perks up a little again at that, and we'll put it away. What's it called?
It's my experimental elixir. It's boldness.
It's bold juice.
Yeah, basically the effect is called boldness. I described what it does.
It's basically the bless spell, Nikki.
Bless juice.
Yee.
Made from
I decided to name it that in my inventory. Bless.
Yes!
that lasts for a day.
Okay.
Oh, that's it. Lasts for. Oh, the
no,
potion
the
lasts for a
potion
day, but
itself
the
will last for a day. The effect lasts for a minute.
Yeah. So there's no point in
So-
not using it.
Wait, does drinking it take only a bonus? Is it a bonus or an action?
Say so. What does it say? Does it say anything specific to that in the alchemist traits? Moonstone?
Well,
if not, it's a bonus action.
let's see here. It is as an action, but it is just drinking you can drink the elixir or administer it to an incapacitated creature. Basically.
Okay, well, no, and like healing potions are as well supposed to be as an action. So we'll say if you're giving it to yourself, it's as a bonus action.
Okay, and it adds a D4 to my attacks.
Attacks and saving
D4 to your
throws.
attacks and saving throws.
For 1 minute. And best part, not concentration. No one can knock it out of you.
Okay, so D4 or just 4?
D4.
D4.
Okay.
What if you vomit?
If
That's
it
up to
already
the
entered
DM.
your system.
That's a personal problem.
So, the day is yours. The forest in this part is eerily quiet. Where do you all wish to go?
Oh, I am going to change out a couple of my spells.
Yeah, that's the thing you can do each morning, so that's fine.
So
Gullo
before
will-
we head out, we have 2 options at hand. We observed, or Grotus did, at the very least, that it looks like they hunt at night. It is possible for us to set a trap for them.
That's
By the way, I'm assuming one of my bear traps is snapped in half and no longer usable.
Oh yeah, if you go to find it, it did draw blood. It 100% did draw blood, and I'll even let you roll the D4 for it, because that was only a few hours ago.
2 damage.
2
Yeah.
damage. It definitely drew blood, and then it seems like something, essentially grabbed it and just pulled till it let go.
In that case, Grotus will take the broken bits back, and he will fix it when he gets the opportunity out of
Yeah,
Forge.
it essentially broke kind of at the joint of it. You get a sense you could fix it.
So
We'll just need a bit of metal materials and an intelligence check of, I'd probably say a 10.
Like a smithing check? Because I could.
Oh yeah, if you're smithing, yeah, I'll let you roll that with smithing.
Yeah, because I am a smith.
You're right.
Remember, beard.
But I'll have to
Oh,
probably wait
that's
till I'm
cool.
at a forge. I'd have to wait till I have a forge kit or at a forge to fix it. So at the point, I have one broken trap and one normal trap.
Yep.
Alright. Back to what you were saying, Kessix. It's not a bad idea, but the problem is Open Skull is just going to be able to get away pretty quickly. Unless we can find a way to tie it down.
The other problem is this thing apparently has the ability to shoot things. So if it flies, that puts us at a real disadvantage.
Do we want to keep the horses somewhere else?
Probably not a bad idea to keep them under a cliff face.
That was my idea for the trap.
So we're for sure hunting these things.
For me, there's no other option. This is what I can.
And I don't mind tackling this as long as we handle it smartly.
If we're going with a plan, we should be fine.
Is it something that we're having to do now?
Well, I think our best course of action is to find where they're nesting, kind of observe them for a little while, see if they, come in and out at different times, and if they do, we can catch one of them off guard and then leave. Take the head, leave, and then take the other one out probably the next day.
Yeah, I don't think we should be walking around with a rotting head. That thing stinks up.
Moonstone will just pull out his toolbox of holding.
Oh, I can handle this. Jules will take out a little bottle of perfume and squirt.
Not what I meant by that.
Now it smells like rot and flour.
Gallo pinches his nose bridge.
Yeah, and Moonstone will just expand the toolbox of holding and just load it in.
Grotus puts the head into the box.
Closes the box.
I hope you clean that afterwards.
It's an interdimensional space. It literally, there's nothing to clean.
Except for the opening. I'm pretty sure it wasn't green before.
Oh, for the love of... And he'll just pull out a small box and cast Prestidigitation and clean it.
You could have casted Prestidigitation on the head first.
I don't think that'll stop it from producing mucus.
So...
Problems handled one way or another.
Alright then. So we're leaving horses. We're not using them as bait currently, unless the rest decide to.
Well, if we use them as bait, we slow down our time to get back to the Red Fort's camp and then back to town, which I don't want to do.
So they are our getaway ride. Alright.
Exactly.
We will keep watch of the beasts to see which one leaves if they end up hunting together, because probably not a good idea to fight them both at the same time.
I think they just prove that they hunt together.
I was about to say, I was like, we pretty much have evidence that they hunt together.
Yeah, but there could be more than the two of them.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news to most of y'all, but it's most likely we're going to have to fight two of them. As the realization came to me, I'm sure it did the rest of you last night, Shamal was trying to split them.
Immediately breaks out in cold sweat.
Well, we could try to follow up on her plan and try to split them too, but we need to observe them first, try to figure out what their MO is, and then see if we can't find cracks in their bond and see if we can't break them.
Cracks within... Okay, I don't think we're going to be able to use her plan, honestly. I think her plan was to wait for them to get starved near to death and hopefully attack each other.
She had a lot more time than we have as well.
Exactly.
That's
if you
fair.
want to save Haman, we got what? 4 days left?
Yes.
I believe trapping them tonight might be the best.
Grotus Oak, I think our best bet, actually, is to hope they're napping in their cave during the daytime and make the attack.
Then we should get moving.
Aye.
Let's do some recon first.
Exactly.
I agree with that,
Sorry.
but...
Them first.
Say again, Dylan?
To find them first before we can recon.
Right.
Well, let's get going then.
Exactly how are we trapping?
Well, my initial thought, we had to tell what environment they're in first before we can set a trap.
Alright. To the cliff then.
Alright. So, continuing on the path for another perhaps hour and a half, you eventually come to a small forest clearing. Looking through, stacked like cloth, as it had been described to you, you see what seemed to be 4 ridges kind of stacked on top of each other, each of which probably going around 5 to 10 feet, almost like a pancake stack. If you weren't all scared, you might make that connection. Looking
It kind of
towards
looks like
it,
a pancake stack.
center of
No
it.
fear.
At the center of it is a strange rock structure, most likely naturally formed. One massive rock has been kind of toppled and is now supported by a few underneath it, creating this small cave, too small for the creatures as their size was described for them to be able to fit in. And those of you with a better perception can see just poking out around the top what looks to be remains of branches and other things that may make a nest. Would everyone make me a perception check and a stealth check?
Oh, goody.
Instead of perception, is it possible that we could go for survival?
No.
Okay.
No, perception's good. Let it be.
For
Let
you?
it be.
Oh, well, that's good. Here comes Clank Clank, guys. Nikki doesn't get added to your.
Yeah. No, hold
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
Also, that only lasts for a minute. I don't think you want to drink that yet.
I did it. Hold on, it's on my sheet.
Oh,
Grotus.
Well, I mean, Nikki got a 7 too. I think we're both pretty clank
Yep.
at the moment.
Xavier, I need your stealth check.
Oh.
6. So your totals on perception
Bad.
are
Darn stealth.
perception's all right. Your totals on stealth are 6, 2, 7, 11, 21, and 10. 10, 11, 22, 24, 20, 30, 37, 58. Gallows. Okay. 58 divided amongst 5 of
6.
we'll round up to.
There's 6 of
None.
us.
Oh, there's
20.
6 of you. You're right.
Is
No, you're
Sickle
right.
still
Oh,
around?
you sickle!
Oh, Sickle. You're right. Where's
Sickle,
her
roll really well.
Where is her sheet? Oh, there it is.
Well, there's 7 of us with Sickle.
Yes, Sickle has a decent stealth.
Oh, damn, Sickle.
Oh wow, that might have actually saved you. Okay. That was
Way to go, Scaly Chick!
I was at 56,
Moonstone
76.
is aroused.
76,
50
83,
Yeah, 83.
83 divided by 6 or 7.
She grabbed Xavier and hoisted him over.
11.8.
12. 12 is the
Yeah.
DC that we're looking at here.
Oh, thank God, Sickle.
Whew.
Yeah, no, it was quite good.
Thank you, sickle.
Sickle just like picks up everybody and stealthily moves with them.
It's like she's in tracking mode, so just hoist Xavier over shoulder. Oh wait,
You kind
second,
of watch and keep from a distance, and just slightly, those of the high perception can see it walking kind of circles around that large mound. This body like a massive tiger, the stripes resembling it, a mane like that of a lion's, though within it are these strange quills almost imbued into it. Massive wings that are currently folded, resting upon its back. A tail that curves upwards like that of a morning star. Adorning its edges, you see one large point and then many of these small spikes growing alongside it, and a face that, while it does mildly resemble that of the large cat, you can also see similarities to that of an elven face. You see perfectly in view for the first time one of the manticores.
Just one, not two.
You just see one.
Question: do the quills on the mane?
Oh,
Do the quills look anything like the arrows that Gallo currently
They
has?
look exactly.
Hey!
Its roll is a 10 for its perception. 7 plus 3.
Woo!
Ah!
You kind of watch as the creature. It's comparable in size to an ogre or another large beast. You kind of watch it twist and turn around the rock, almost acting as its own watch.
And it's inside the. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it is. It does not seem like anything can really fit in. Or at least they can't fit inside.
Okay.
Moonstone just kind of.
You get a sense they could reach in. Probably easy enough, but it's not something that could, like, it doesn't seem like there's enough space for it to hold their whole bodies.
So it's below them, right?
Yes. Well, no. The one that you're seeing, the nest seems to be above it. The one where this is walking is outside of it.
Okay.
Also, to Moonstone and Gallo, who are both the people that got over a 20 for perception, you can see just kind of as it walks by and as you kind of look within the cave, there is something being reflected by light within it and a shimmer of valuable metals.
Mm.
As the beast kind of looms, looking around, clearly acting as a watch, you also would notice this seems to be the one that most likely landed, as you can see just slightly on the orange fur a crimson red around one of the paws.
You wouldn't happen to have a map of this area, would you?
I do. Funny enough.
It's like we had a battle planned.
It's like I had a battle plan.
You know.
This
Very edgy.
may be our best bet if there's just one right now.
But where's the other? Is the question.
Well, if
don't
anything, there aren't any
224. You're right. I should on a crit. Moonstone, as you look towards the nest, just for a moment, you swear you see something above within it.
Does it look like another fully grown manticore?
It is hard to see at the angle. It looked very red in color. You know that there is something alive and moving there.
Oh, thank God, it's just a Zor.
Yep.
All right, I will whisper to all of them and just relay that information. Just be like, obviously the one right there, but there's also one in the nest.
Do you think it's a child or is it the other one?
How big did it look?
Decent sized.
Can
Again,
I
you're
start?
Again, you're not sure as to what part of it you saw.
Okay. Hard to say from this angle. I could try to move around a little bit.
I wasn't going to give it to you guys unless you found a different angle. So it is difficult to see. As you're essentially looking like at a 45-degree angle upwards to see it.
Got it. Is there a cliff above that spot?
No, that is the highest cliff.
All right.
And if we were to move along these, like if we were to cross, just out of
Sorry.
curiosity.
You said if you moved along these, which I'm guessing are the ridges.
Yeah,
What was the question? I missed what the actual
just
question.
out of curiosity, that's going to slow our movement down, right?
It is a ledge, which would require an athletics check to see how much movement you lose on it.
Okay, cool.
Though the ledges are about maybe 5 to 10 feet high.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yes.
All right then. So,
So you just kind of look nervously between kind of the group, and it's just, Kesix, Gallo.
Hmm.
I can do that thing I did before. I feel like it might be a little bit more necessary this time around than before.
wait, before you do that though, the nest. There's something in there. It's probably either its sibling / mate or it's its cub. If it's its cub, we could probably use that to our advantage. If it's
Didn't
its
we
mate-
just hear a story about how it tried to kill its own or the other one tried to kill its child?
the cub killed the parent.
But I mean, like the parent was going to eat the child, wasn't it?
Oh no, the cub killed the parent because it was hungry. It was specifically referring to this manticore.
When I heard that, I thought the mother was going to try to eat the baby.
The mother was very caring for the baby.
The mother was caring to a point where, despite the clear age of this manticore, it was still caring for it like a child. When food became scarce, the child claimed the mother's body.
I see. I feel like a jerk for not paying attention.
No, dude, totally. We're talking over a shitty online service. I understand if things get lost.
All right, Keswick charges. No, I'm just...
I was not sure if you were serious. I was like, all right, he's dead. Let's go.
He's our bit, guys. Here we go.
How do we fucking approach this?
Grotus.
What?
I will pull out a grappling hook and give it to you.
He takes the grappling hook and looks at it. It's like,
in case we need to bring one down.
I see what you're doing. Probably not gonna work, but we'll see.
This is just like a vanilla, guys. It's gonna be great.
Why do I have this image of Grotus just like being taken off into the sky?
Saw him again.
Not if you throw 1,000 pounds out of us suddenly, like you can.
Well, he did want to leave.
I will mount this thing, make it my mount, and just wander away.
No, you cannot do that because you told me that plan was stupid.
Well, we could either try to. We might be able to bribe this thing. Like, we might be able to learn a trap by offering it food.
It's proved hostile enough to kill its own mother. I
think we count as the food, Moonstone. That ain't gonna work.
Yeah, but that's what the goblins did, and it worked for a good while, didn't it?
Don't forget, these things are intelligent, too. The goblins, it was something they could bully and force.
And it might think that it can bully and force us if it thinks that we're weak.
Points towards Sickle and Grotus. Huh?
I'm almost so wondering too. We don't know whether it went looking for the goblins or the goblins found it. Again, the thing thinks. If we just go up and approach it and say, "Oh, let's feed you because you're great and big and all that," I'm not so certain that'll work.
Then maybe we go up with an ulterior motive, such as maybe we want to try to make a deal with this thing. Maybe we want to take down a specific goblin camp, or maybe the Red Horns Fort.
Looks over at Keswick.
Now we're going on to Plan M.
Plan M, guys. Plan M.
I was about to say, speaking of the goblins, it gives me an idea. Why don't... No, I was going to say we were...
You watch as you all kind of discuss. The manticore kind of turns, and you see it kind of focus on something on one of the lower ridges. You watch the tail kind of raise up, and one of these spikes, without even like a movement from the tail, just launches itself, and you hear this. And kind of watch the manticore kind of slowly start to move down towards this second ridge. It like kind of turns and looks back towards the nest for a moment before kind of reaching down with that strange human-like face and pulling off of the spike what seems to be a small rabbit. That got a bit too close.
Gross.
You just watch it intensely quickly, just almost scarf the thing down whole before receding and starting to move back up.
See, Moonstone? That could be us.
If we can get rabbits and poison them...
Could I whip up poison?
You would need something to make it out of. There's definitely, like, you could take something that is hostile to the human body or the humanoid body and use it, though to its effectiveness against monsters and beasts, it can be altered. Which will just come down to essentially like their constitution mods, because monsters usually have a higher one.
Yeah.
If you find something that is specifically poisonous, there can be a higher chance of success, as that's what it's meant for, so to say.
Y'all are telling me that poison would work on a beast that has a poisonous tail.
It doesn't
and
have
is
a poisonous tail. It has like a tail that causes infections, but it's not poisonous. We went over that a while back.
Either way, right? It's some type of beast. It would probably be able to smell infected meat.
Again,
Yeah,
the
but-
thing's not a beast. It's got a mind of its own. It can think.
You get what I mean.
I get you. No, what I'm referring to, if we poison any critter to feed it, it might be wondering why there's a dead critter just wandering on the road.
No, I'm sorry, y'all misunderstood my point. If we could attach the poison to the critter.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. Like, we either like glue it or tie a little string around it or something. And then when it gobbles it up like that, as he gestures over to the Manicore, it won't
Did it?
notice.
Grotus looks over, goes, again, not a mindless beast. What if it notices the poison vial attached to it?
We're not
If
gonna
a
put it in
person,
a vial.
if a person can notice it, then so can it.
Exactly. Whatever we're
But it-
doing, it's going to have to fool a person as well as a beast.
We can, but given its behavior, how quickly it ate it. I'm saying, if we say put a little bit of meat on the underside of a rabbit, it swallows the rabbit like it just did. We could poison it.
And if it
Moonstone,
notices
I don't believe anybody else is on this plan. Also, I'm starting to get the suspicion none of y'all have been fucking poisoned before.
Also,
Trust me,
DM,
I have.
DM,
Yes.
would Gallo know anything about like any known weaknesses? Since Manicore are kind of like a creature that's been around that has terrorized people in the past. Any known like weakness in defense or like things that they like to have.
There's not really a weakness you would know of. You would know that it's like, oh, clip the wings if you can. Oh,
Remove the tail.
attempt to lure it into a place it can't fly, but it is still a
Mhm.
massive physical beast.
Okay.
It'll
Yeah,
have the same weaknesses as any other creature of flesh and body,
Mhm.
but other than like specific like weaknesses, like it doesn't, as far as you know, there isn't anything. It's not going to burn better. It's not going to freeze colder.
Would I? By the way, would I know if I could make any sort of poison with my alchemist supplies or no?
I don't believe so. Let me check.
Yeah, because I think there's a
Also-
poisoner's kit specifically.
There is, yeah.
Do we think anything in that cave? Somebody mentioned metal up there might be useful to us in this situation.
Probably
Well,
not. I wanna-
it has a stash. It likes to collect things, from what it seems.
So, with the 24 perception, would I be and dark vision, would I be able to tell exactly what's in there besides just precious metals?
You're looking at a distance, you guys. You're looking literally a distance of over 100 feet. So I'm going to say no.
And from downhill, so.
And from downhill.
All right. Well,
And
Are we
You
like
said
down
it
over
can't-
here, or
you said it's not big enough to get in the cave, right?
It
Yeah.
looks like you can reach in and like interact with the cave. You get a sense. Sorry, I should have rephrased that. It's big enough that it could fit, but you get a sense there probably isn't enough room in the cave for it. If that makes
Okay.
sense.
It's not
Like,
nesting in
it's
the
not-
cave. It can get in there.
It will attempt to sit, but it won't fit, kind of thing.
It's not a big deep cave. Got it.
And that's my next plan out, which was just to stand in the cave and bombard it from the inside.
BRB, guys. I just gotta go grab some food.
Yeah, of course.
well,
if anything, if it can use weapons that it can shoot things, maybe setting that cave ablaze
No.
might also be a thing.
no, I don't see any benefit of setting it ablaze.
Set the nest.
Well, here's the. I got two problems. First off, we're in a big open field. Second off, we don't know what's in that nest. If we found out what's in that nest, I'd feel more confident making a plan. Because if it's just the one, we may be able to take it. We just have to make sure we get the wings before, it can react to us, and then take out its tail.
Then I suggest we figure out what's in the nest first, as I look over to Gallo.
Gala looks over to Xavier. Why is the DM laughing? I don't like this.
Just the idea of we can't go near it until we're certain that we know what we're dealing with.
But we're
Gallo,
also gonna go
near
near
it and find out what we're dealing with.
Xavier will look over at the both of you, and it's just, guys, we're not gonna understand what we're going to fight until we fight it.
No, but I'm saying if we look in the nest, make sure there's not two of them here.
That's the thing. How do you suppose that we're gonna get that close with something that aware that it picked up a goddamn rabbit off the floor from like what, 30 feet away, 60?
Make a distraction if anything. Besides, this guy can meld in the shadows. I've seen it. It's
I don't think he wants to meld in the shadows around that thing.
Keep your
What's up
voice
to him?
down a little bit.
We should move quickly and kill it.
That's what I'm saying.
I'd rather not get my head shot off today.
If its mate or sibling is sleeping, an opportunity to engage before it is awoken.
Yeah, back.
yeah, but that's still. Yeah, but assuming that it hears a fight going on and wakes up, that means we have two of those fucking things to worry about.
They are not dull creatures. They will hunt in pairs if possible. One is guarding the nest now, I imagine. If they hunt at night, the other is resting.
So we lure it further away.
One has to keep watch of the nest, at least.
If the creature is confident in itself, it might not alert the other. But that is playing on thoughts we do not know.
The main focus is to clip the wings, clip the tail, and from there we deal with the beast.
Yeah, at that point, then we can just kite it.
Well, as a note, while like clipping the tail or clipping the wings, like sure enough, you surround it. Like we could say something. Clipping the tail, that thing is thicker than your arm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Curtis has a big axe.
Rhodas would actually point out the fact that, honestly, if we can get it on the ground, I can grapple the thing when I go large and take it one-on-one
Cool.
that way.
Oh,
I
you
really
aren't
want to see this
affected by
grappling
its
hook
will.
thing also, by the way. Just gonna let you know that.
Mabel voice grappling hook.
Listen, man, that's a project for another day.
As you all are discussing this, I need everyone to make another stealth check.
Oh dear.
As the creature is still keeping an eye out and watching.
Uh-oh, 7. Oof.
Ooh, but there is some carry in here.
Yeah, there's another 2 for me.
There's another 2. But everyone else, except for Julius, everyone else, it
You just hear the
rolls
rattling of metal because he's shaking so bad.
10 plus 3. That won't beat your average. Nope.
So
plus sickle.
Sickle rolled. Sickle got
Oh
a
shit.
19.
Oh yeah, she rolled. Okay.
No, it won't beat, because you guys got, I'm looking at 18, 19, or 21, 19, 18, 18. Yeah, even with the 2 and the 7, I'm not thinking... Oh, actually, what did Xavier roll? Oh, no,
Rolled a
Xavier got
20.
20, Gallo, Grotus, Moonstone. Yeah, no, it
I
won't
should-
beat your average. With a
I should be a
13.
13.
Yeah, Moonstone's a 13. It's a disadvantage.
Oh, okay, you're right. Let me just double check this then.
Yeah, you
I
know
gotta
what?
get a breastplate.
30, 49, 59, 62, 64. Oh, fuck, I added it. I keep adding Julius's 19. Hold on. So 30, 40, 58, 65, 67. Yeah, no, it won't.
So, Sickle believes the best course of action is to get it on its own.
Well, no, Sickle's input is we strike now while one is sleeping. We
Yeah,
don't give it
well-
a chance. No, I'm making it clear, just because, like, to give you guys an NPC's input. She believes run straight at it and try to do as much to it before the other one wakes up.
Ah, okay.
If you try to pull it away from it, there is no guarantee it will not wake up its partner.
Yeah, exactly. It could just, if it's just like, oh, there's some food, but it's big food, so let's get the mate up for it, right? So
You could attempt, and like it is clear, you've seen that it'll hunt on its own. You've seen that if it thinks it can get away with it, it will. You just have to skirt that line. Just letting you know, though, that there is the risk of if it feels like something's there, that it can't kill in like a single shot, it probably will wake the other one up, should the other one be there.
And I doubt it's going to go too far away from its nest either. That we're going to get it to go hundreds of feet away with a lure. Because again, not a beast.
It's getting kind of late. This fight will take a while. I unfortunately do have to be up early to make a doctor's appointment, as I have to go get swabbed.
Oh, so pick this up next week then?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was giving it till the 30 mark if you guys started a fight.
Okay. Is it okay if we plan?
Yeah,
in the
totally. You
meantime?
guys can plan as you like and send questions. I'll probably still be awake for a while. I just felt I needed to call it here and probably say, unfortunately, we won't get to the fight this week. It'll be next week.
That's all right. Thank you.
All right.
Good.
I hope you all enjoyed.
Yeah.
I hope we all
Heck
have
yeah.
a combat focused episode tomorrow or next week. And I hope you all stay safe.
You too.
Hey, you too.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Night.
Night.
Good night.